Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to check your absolute value inequalities with your graphs. Okay? Alright, so first things first, we solve. We need to isolate the absolute value, even though it's same steps as the equation. Okay? So we're going to isolate it, and we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. And when we do that, we get this is greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Well, we already know that an absolute value is always positive. Well, if you're greater than 0, what are you always? You're always positive. So this is one of those special cases, and this answer is going to be all real numbers. So anytime that you are greater than 0, you are going to be all real numbers. Okay? All right, so these are going to be your easiest to see on your graph. Okay? So all real numbers means there's no number I can't plug into this equation and it not be greater than 0. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like on the graph. So I've already graphed it. Here we go. So if you look, I've put in the equation y equals for the top one, and the second one is your inequality. Okay, the first one is just your equation. The second part is the inequality part. All right, look right here. All real numbers. Look at there. It's highlighted the whole graph. When it is highlighted the whole graph, that is in all real numbers. Okay, that is how you check your work. If your entire graph is highlighted with the color of the inequality, it is an all real number solution. Okay, all right, next one, number 2. I'm going to give you this. So we're going to solve, okay, so we're going to subtract the 4 on both sides, and we get a 0 again. But this time, I'm saying that the absolute value is less than the 0. If you're less than the 0, that means you're negative. Can an absolute value be negative? No. So this is a no solution. So let's see what a no solution looks like on the graph. So we're going to type them in. So you're going to type the inequality. You're going to type the equation in first, just like a normal equation. Y equals absolute value of 2x minus 1. Minus 1, and then it was plus 4. And then the inequality was y is less than 4. Okay? Yes, I did that right. All right. So, is the graph shaded at all with the inequality? Is that graph anywhere in this red space? It's not. So if it's not in the red space, is there a solution? No, there's not a solution. So that is what a no solution looks like on your graph. Okay? All right. Let's do another one. All right. Let's do one where we get an answer. Okay? This is number 3. This one's going to be 2x minus 1 minus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. All right, so first we got to get it isolated. Okay, you work your way out in. So we're going to get rid of the 4 first. And I get 2 absolute value of x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 6. Then we're going to divide by the 2. All right, so I just isolated. That's all I just did. Okay. It's greater than a positive number. That can work, so we can solve. Now it's greater than. A greater than is your or statement. So we're going to say that x minus 1 is less than or equal to negative 3, or you keep it the same. X minus 1 is greater than or equal to 3. And we're going to solve both of them. We're going to add 1. So I get x is less than or equal to negative 2, or add 1, x is greater than or equal to 4. All right, so what this means, so you guys know this stuff on a number line. You've seen a number line. If I had 0 here, negative 2 was here, 4 was here. That arrow tells me to shade that way, right? This arrow tells me to shade this way. That's what your graph should look like. Okay, your graph is just a shaded number line, and it's shading the graph. It's shading this for you instead of a number line. Okay, so let's look at the graph and see what that looks like. Okay, All right, so you type the equation in first. So we're going to say y equals 2 absolute value of x minus 1. And then that was a minus 4. And then my y's were greater than or equal to 2. Okay? All right. So if you look, I'm actually going to do that, and then I'm going to screenshot this so I can write on it. Okay? All right. That's from yesterday. All right. So, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. All right. Full screen. Okay. So, you're looking, so basically your answer for an inequality is whatever is shaded. Okay? So, whatever is shaded is your answer. So, if you look, none of this is shaded. So, that's not a solution. This is not a solution. What is the solution is the green, and we have to write it in inequality form. And an inequality deals with your x's. So if you look, my x's start at -2, right? Let me erase that. All right, my x's, well, it's thinking, whatever. My x's start at -2, correct? And if you look, my x's are getting shaded to the left, correct? So that arrow is going to point to the left. Okay, isn't that what we got? There's one of them. Okay. This one, my x's start at 2, and they're getting shaded to the right. So again, my arrow is going to point to the right, correct? To the right. Oh, that's a 4, not a 2. My bad. The 4. I'm sorry. So I'm going to shade that way. And isn't that what we got also? Boom. If you know how to read a graph, it can help you so much when you struggle with solving. Okay? All right. So we got our answer. Okay, so our answer was that or that. And if you have a break in the graph, that's where the or comes from. See how we have a break in this graph? That's the or. If you have a break in your graph, it's an or. If it's a solid graph, that's going to be your and statement. Okay, and we'll do one of those. All right. All right, so let's do an and statement one. Let's see here. Got to find one. Oh, here's one. Okay, right in front of my face. So 3 absolute value of 4x minus 1 is less than or equal to 9. All right, so what we're going to do, got to isolate it first. So we're going to divide by 3. Okay. So I get the absolute value of 4x minus 1 is less than or equal to 3. When it's an and, it's a sandwich. It's a sandwich in between the positive and negative version of your answer. So we're going to say -3, and it stays less than or equal to what's inside, less than or equal to the positive. And this one you're just going to solve. We're going to add 1 to all sides. I get -2 is less than or equal to 4x, less than or equal to 4. Divide by 4. So my answer is -1/2 is less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 1. So this is a sandwich. That means I should have something that is solid shaded when I graph this on my Desmos. So let's go to Desmos and let's check our answers. Okay. First I'm gonna, there we go. Let's exit. No, I need that for today. All right. Sorry, talking out loud. All right, here we go. So first you type your equation. Y equals 3 absolute value of 4x minus 1 absolute value. And then my y's are going to be less than or equal to 3. See how it's shaded? See how this is shading together? It doesn't have a gap in the shade. That's how you know it's an and. There's no gap in the shade. It's just a solid shade of a graph. All right, so we're going to screenshot this. Let me get my points. And we all know 0.5 is 1/2, okay? All right, so if it is shaded solid like this, you know it's in between two numbers, and you're looking at your x values, what x values is in between, Okay? Did I? Oh, I typed that wrong. I was like, this looks wrong. Hold on. That should be a 9, not a 3, guys. Okay. It's still solid shade. Okay. You see that? There's no break in the graph. So now, there we go. There's, am I still, what did we get? Okay. Momentary lapse. All right, here we go. So now we got it right. Typed it in right. All right, so again, it's a solid shade. What two x's is it shaded between? It's shaded between negative 0.5, which we know is negative 1/2, okay, and 1. So all my x's are between those two numbers, and when you're between, it's the less than. And how do I know it's an equal to? You see that solid line? If it was a less than, it'd be dotted, okay? And look, and that's the same answer we got when we did the math, okay? We catching on? All right. So let's do 2 more. Okay. Let's do one where it flips when you're solving. Okay. Let's do one where we flip. I can find one. All right, so this to me is going to be the hardest one I think you would see with me. So let's try it out and look at the graph and see what we can see. All right, so first you got to get it isolated, okay? So we're trying to get this guy isolated, so anything that's not in there has got to go. So we're going to add the 6. When I do that, I get negative 4, absolute value of 10 minus x, and that's going to be negative 4. We're going to divide by this negative 4 because it's being multiplied. And I get absolute value of 10 minus x. Now, when we divide by the negative 4, that greater than flips to a less than. Okay? So now I have a less than sandwiched in between the negative and the positive. So we're going to have a negative less than or equal to 10 minus x less than or equal to 1. Okay? Solve it. We're going to subtract 10, subtract 10, subtract 10. I get negative 11 is less than or equal to negative x, less than or equal to negative 9. We're going to divide by negative 1. Well, we're dividing by a negative number again. So guess what? We have to flip again. So this becomes 11 is greater than or equal to x, greater than or equal to 9. Now, this is technically incorrect because you don't have, because it's not the, small number has to be first. Okay, it's always small to large with inequalities. So just flip it like a mirror. So when you flip it like a mirror, you're just flipping everything. And there's your answer. Okay? All right. So let's go to Desmos. And let's see what this bad boy looks like when we graph him. Okay? All right. So we're going to type him in. Negative 4, absolute value. Oh, forgot my y equals. Y equals. There we go. 4, 10 minus x. And then minus 6. And then y is greater than or equal to negative 10. Okay? Put this down. Let's zoom out some. Let's find our graph. Okay. So look, you see how it's a solid shade here? So again, that tells you that it's going to be an and, okay? So let's snip it so I can write on it. So if you look, what two x values is it shaded between? It's shaded between 9 and 11. So my x's are between 9 and 11. And isn't that what we just got? Okay? All right. So I really hope this helps because I know some of y'all were struggling with absolute inequalities. So go back if you haven't finished the delta math. Use this method. Okay? This is a method. This is not cheating. It's just knowing how to use your graphs. Okay? So if you can read this graph and you can get an answer, go for it, guys. Okay? Go for it. All right, so I hope this helps. Let me know if you need anything else. I think my laptop's dying. I'm trying to get it plugged in. Okay, there we go. Saved by the plug. All right, there you go. All right, guys.